The sale, purported sale of SSNIT Hotels. The story here is on citinewsroom.com, and it says here, we'll stop the sale of SSNIT's shares in 4 hotels to Brian Champon, organized labor speaking. The story here by Charles Usukumi. It says here, organized labor has raised concerns about the ongoing divestiture of the Social Security and National Insurance Trust SSNIT shares in 4 hotels to Rock City Hotel, owned by Brian Champon. Now, he's the Minister of Agriculture. The group has consequently urged the government to suspend the process, warning of a potential nationwide strike by workers. SSNIT is nearing the completion of divesting 60% of its shares in Labadi Beach Hotel, La Palm Royal Beach Hotel, Ride Royal Hotel, it's supposed to be Ridge Royal Hotel, yes. That's in Cape Coast, Ridge Royal Hotel, and Elmina Beach Resort, to Rock City Hotel. Now, this action has ignited extensive criticism, with North Tong MP Okujoto Ablakwa filing a petition with Shraj. Now, at a press conference in Accra on Monday, the Secretary General of the Trades Union Congress, Dr. Yaoban, said the process, and I quote, is going on, and in fact, they are even speeding it up, and we don't think that it is right. We do not think that the regulation that guides the sale of state assets was followed. We do not think that the necessary due diligence was done. We cannot imagine that state properties will be sold to a minister of state. For us, it is state capture, and that should be stopped. Stopped immediately. And if the Minister for Pensions, who is also the Minister for Employment and Labor Relations, fails to stop SSNIT, we workers of Ghana, we own the funds. We will stop that process. And that's where the story ends. Let me start with you, Paul.
Okay, thank you, Kweku. And once again, good morning to our viewers, and a special one to Madam Teresa Sapon. She is celebrating her 70th birthday tomorrow, and that happens to be my best friend's mother. And so once again, I echo Mama, 70 years is no mean achievement. Coming to the topic on board, Kweku, sale of SSNIT hotels. The first question that crosses the minds of many is, have these hotels been making losses almost at the same time for such a decision to be arrived at? And that is the first question that crosses the minds of many as to why SSNIT would decide, you know, to sell off its shares, you know, within 4 hotels. 4.
Yeah.
Not just one. I mean, if it were just Elmina Beach or La Palm Royal or Labadi, it is understandable that, oh, we want to diversify, maybe put the money elsewhere. That makes sense. But to sell 4 of them at the same time, that is where the challenge lies. Now, let's come into the issues proper. I think it is only fair again and proper to separate the individual we are talking about vis-a-vis his hotels, all right? Yes, he is the owner of Rock City Hotel, but as a legal entity, it is always fair and proper that you distinguish between the owners from the entity. It's a business entity. And so I don't think that it is fair to be attaching his name to the legal entity
just because
of the hotel. Yes. And I think that over the period and throughout the discussions, I don't think pundits and critics alike have been fair to the MP. Having said that, we have seen SSNIT, you know, come up with a statement that yes, the process began somewhere in 2018, and it was through an international competitive tendering process. That we are yet to establish. We cannot say offhand that indeed there's ample evidence to show that indeed the process was fair and it was Rock City Hotel that presented the best offer for them to have sold or given out their shares in these hotels to Rock City Hotel. Here, I do not want to mention the name of the Honorable Agric Minister in the person of Brian Champon, because I feel that we need to separate the entity from the owner of the company. Now, we need to interrogate the issue. Was it through a fair competitive bidding? Was it through sole sourcing? What was the tendering processes like? Was it a board resolution that led to the hotels being diversified, or the shares of SSNIT in these hotels being diversified? Do we have evidence to show same? I think this falls within the ambit of the OSP. And like many Ghanaians, I am calling on the Office of the Special Prosecutor to look into the issues. Because here, if indeed it is established that due processes were not followed, laid down procedures were not followed, then it means that that issue of conflict of interest may have arisen somewhere. And again, we have seen the Honorable Ablakwa also write to Shraj, asking them to also interrogate the issues and see whether or not there is any conflict of interest situation anywhere. And so again, I still reiterate the call that it falls within the powers of the office that set up the OSP, and I think that he will be a good, as it were, referee to tell Ghanaians whether or not all the processes were followed, all the laid down procedures were followed to the latter in giving out the shares of one Labadi Beach Hotel, a hotel that has been serving both international and local Ghanaians very well over the past years. La Palm Royal, we all know how La Palm has been. Elmina Beach, I mean, the tourists from all over. You remember the day, the year of the year of return. Yeah. The number of tourists that Ghana received. Most of these tourists went to Elmina, and they were well received there. I'm sure you can read their reviews and all of that from the hotel. And this is a hotel that is performing so well. And I am struggling to come to terms with the fact that we are diversifying, so-called, with no proper reasoning behind it. Why do we decide to sell 4, not just 1 or 2, and to a single entity, Rock City Hotel? Why? So there are a lot of questions, that are begging for answers, and that I feel that the only person, the only organization that perhaps could put the minds of Ghanaians to rest is obviously the OSP. So the OSP must go in there, investigate whatever may have gone in there with SSNIT, the board, and even the management. Go to the hotels, look at their financials over the period, whether or not they are making losses or profits, and if indeed there is the need for them to diversify, so-called by SSNIT, then the sale can go ahead. Okay. But where it is established that no, this is just a conflict of interest situation where we want to just hand over state assets to individuals by virtue of the positions they occupy, then I'm afraid we need to put the law to test. And so my initial submission will be that the OSP must come in and establish whether or not the sales followed laid down procedures. Thank you.
All right.
If there was a man listening out there, he would just tell my brother Paul, there he goes again, calling the innocent OSP again. I think we have all been of great service to the OSP.
With all his woes.
Yes. Ghanaians are very, I mean, sometimes you have to guide your words. So this Ghana we are, including Paul and myself. We are all sitting
but
here.
you know, I've been
no,
praising
I don't
him.
know. We are all
I've been
sitting
praising
here,
him for
including
that.
himself, myself, and the rest of the Ghanaian public. We talk about anti-corruption. We are sitting here. We are watching him from yesterday, last week when this thing started, that they are on the neck of the OSP. We are sitting here. What have we done? In another country, you see people with placards. They'll take to the streets, protecting the OSP. That is where the energy comes. We'll leave him like we left Dom level. What did the rest do? Some of my colleagues in the CSO will tell you we took the matter to court. And then?
It ended there.
And then it delayed. When the ruling came, the man was already booted out of office. That's what we did. One man will speak in Ghana and we'll leave him. Look, it is clear that Ghanaians love corruption. I'm putting it on record.
You mean some?
I won't put some.
No, some.
If we are 10 in this room,
Please qualify.
I'll repeat myself. If we are 10 in this room,
yes,
and there are 3 people decide to be corrupt,
okay,
and there are about 2 accomplices, and there are 5, the rest of the 5 who watch on, they are also guilty. If you sit aside, let me land. If you sit aside and watch it go on, you are part of it. It doesn't end with I wasn't part of it. It doesn't end like that. Fighting corruption is not a few numbers going to court with the matter, and the rest of you will sit home. Don't sit in the comfort of your chair and say that say my Ndibi. Why Ndibi today? What's your now here? Na boneno koso also can. If I saw him slapping you as a citizen and I don't report to the police or call security, I'm part of it. I'm condoning.
Right.
You are doing video instead.
That is what the people are doing now. They are sending TikTok and whatever, showing the figures that have been stolen. Go and go to court and don't take to the streets too. If it smells, let the people know it smells. On this case, it's a clear case of some are working and others are chopping. That's why you saw the people hold their press conference. They are working hard. People are waking up from their beds from 4:30 for about 30 years in service. Some joined the service at 20 years old, and they've been working for like 30 years. And for some of them, they wake up at dawn every day, go to work. They don't even have bicycles, with all due respect. And then you come and sit down, and all you do, in fact, right now what we see is that it has become like the norm. They just giving out state assets. Look, they have a low sense of preserving national assets. And I'll repeat this one, a very low sense of preserving national assets. They're just giving out. Go to Laboni and those areas. And I told you yesterday, and I'll repeat it again. They are using the law. They'll use the law to do it well. It is legal. But you know what? Sometimes you explore the legal route and you do evil. Gross problem of great selfish-mindedness. I mean, it is if our early torchbearers decided to sell, will we even be getting anything? You think there were no Europeans who wanted to buy the lands along the coast and everything? You think there were no Europeans who wanted to own some of the things that we call Ghana National? People were ready to buy them. But some of them said, no, let's preserve this area. This is for our children. This is for our great-grandchildren. We can't take all. That is why we also met some. Why? Do you know where mining started in the world? You think that in the 18th century, nobody came to Ghana looking for gold? But some of them said, no, let's preserve these areas. That's it. Look, and there's this blind philosophy. And I always say it is sad that government has no business doing business. Then let government also give out the state security. Let us sublet the ministerial positions to the Arabs. They are doing better in Dubai. They have managed well. They've turned areas that were desert into. So let's sublet that one to them too. If it's possible. The issues are, this is a poor management decision. A very poor one. 2, you see, this is misleading arrangements. This is just couched under PPP. See, they have their own selfish interests, but they'll come and quickly use, like I told you, the law. Oh, this is a public-private partnership, which is very, very, normal. It is normal. This one is normal. And then, look, there's a suspected case of conflict of interest. I mean, if people are in government, and when they were in opposition, are they able to own or partner government on these arrangements? It's only when they come into power. So what does it leave on your mind? Let's move forward. This is a case of depleting national assets at very, very worrying costs. If some of them, their fathers were owning these properties, would they give it out at this price? If they were owning, their families were owning these properties, would they give those properties out at this price? Let it be on our mind. I've told you, that when the legal approaches are used, and then they come, oh, it is legal, it is, there's a certain precedence, they should go ahead. We have the public court. Our minds will also work on us. We will also give our views someday. We spend so much to educate all these people. Sadly, we give some of them scholarships and get fund. When they come back, this is what they come and do for us. The people who spend so much money to educate, this is the best they come and do. They can't manage hotels, but they can easily work on it is easy to work on the documents to give out these hotels than to manage them well. My final say is, look, let's totally move away from this deal of selling out these state assets and manage them well. Let's have contractual agreements with these managers of these state institutions. Very, very, very nice contractual commission-based ones. We make profit, we pay you. We don't make profit, you step aside. And we shouldn't even give it from like a government appointment. It's like people to come on a business front. You have this experience, you can do this, you can do that. You are coming with your management team of about 5. Just like we give it to the foreigners, we want to see that way, like we did under Aqua Vitran. Let's have Ghanaians who are qualified hotel managers, a good track record, managing about 6 or 7 hotels in Ghana. Then he comes forward, says, I want it. I have 5-member team. Let's give them the contract. They start the work. Even if possible, have those who have the money, financial muscle, to start showing us something. They should own some part of it. So that if you feel it, you manage it well. We'll give you a part of it. I think if we do things like this, it will be a proper PPP. We shouldn't do this other PPP, which clearly looks like ceding away everything else to people.
All right, thank you very much. We're going to take, before we went for a break, we're talking about the alleged sale of SSNIT Hotels. We will move on shortly, but before we do that, my guests want to have a quick minute on the earlier topic before we go into the next one. Kapite, anything you want to say quickly?
Yeah, I think we should hold, ourselves to it that, look, this generation came after preceding generations. There was a need to preserve national assets. We should always be mindful that we're not even leaving this country in the hands of only our children, but there will be generations behind. And let's look, there's nothing wrong with only coming here to set the stage for that rapid, acceleration of our industrial listing if we don't even enjoy it. Look, the people who fought for our freedom, Sajajete, he didn't even live to see the freedom he fought for. Some of them didn't even live to see the freedom. So just ask yourself, those who bought this freedom we are enjoying, some of them, you see, red, gold, green. Are we even teaching people these things in school? Do they know about it? What the red in the flag stands for? That blood, to the blood and soil of our fathers. Do they know about it? Do they know that red? It is important.
Okay.
We should always know that people, others labored, and we share their glory.
All right.
We should just remember.
Paul, quickly.
Yes, Kweku, just a quick bite. It is alleged that prior to the action of the MD of SSNIT, he refused to go by, quote and unquote, the sale of these hotels to Rock City. Now, getting him off the seat has given way for these sales to go on. And so again, I reiterate the point that the OSP must come in and establish whether or not the sale was made through the right channels, followed through the laid down procedures. Where there is any conflict of interest, it must establish so. Now, I've heard other commentators also say that at the time of the NDC, there were sales of SSNIT shares in the Cape Coast Hotel, given to some NDC gurus and even some in Tamale and Sunyani and what have you. I think that the OSP can do us a great deal of service if it can expand its tentacles, to cover all these areas. Matter of fact, all assets of SSNIT, so that we know who are hiding behind the veil. The OSP must be able to lift that veil for us to see who are the real owners. and whether or not, again, laid down procedures were followed in selling these shares to our politicians.
Yeah.
Politicization of SSNIT must end at some point. Listen, these are the toils of workers, all right?
Yeah.
And the pensions of these workers at the end of the day. And so if they are not managed well, and then I come home and then I want to have access to the funds I saved, quote and unquote, then I'll have a cause to worry. All right?
Yeah.
Organized labor, in fact, some of us will join in. The protest will perhaps be the most massive demonstration the government has ever seen. And so it needs to put its acts together. Allow SSNIT to be SSNIT. Take your hands off pensions of workers and allow SSNIT to be SSNIT. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, all right.